got a 2008 Dodge Ram 1500 here today. So I am pulling the bed right now. I wasn't going to make a video on this because they're typically pretty straightforward and they're all the same, but this one's a little different. So I figured I'd go ahead and go forward with it. This is super convenient if you're trying to change your fuel pump or something, if you have one of these, because that's the best way in my opinion to do is just pull the bed off and then swap the pump out, put the bed back on. But also if you're in a situation like me where your bed is damaged and you're trying to replace it, could also help. So these beds are the same from 2003 to 2008 from what I gather. So the first step is make sure you disconnect all of your wiring harness. You're going to pull the bumper off, which obviously I've already done. Like I said, I didn't plan on making a video, but it's 3 or 2 bolts on the side here on both sides, and then there's 2 in the middle, and they're 15 millimeter. There's one there and one there that holds it to the hitch. They're 15 millimeter. You can pull that off. Then you don't have to remove the hitch. I'm taking this one off obviously, but that has nothing to do with it. So typically, even on short beds, you have at least 4 bolts. If you have the 8-foot bed, I'm imagining you probably do have 4 bolts, but on this one it's a little different. There's only 3. So I'll get under here and we'll go ahead and take a look at where they're at. All right, we're gonna go under. We're just now coming out of an ice storm down here in Dallas, so it's a little wet, but we'll be all right. So your first bolt, typically what makes this different is typically your frame has a pass-through hole to get to the bolts, but when you get to this front one, right, I'll put a circle around it hopefully, but you should be able to see it right up there. So you're gonna need definitely an impact socket, definitely a 1/2-inch drive impact if you got one. I'll put links in the Amazon description, but I would imagine if you're tackling this, you probably already have it. And some long extensions, because you're gonna come up. Oh, where's it at? It's over here. So you're gonna come up at the leaf spring mount here and just slide in right behind it, just like that, to get up there and get on it. I'm using a wobbler because a bunch of my stuff is bent, which is why I'm pulling the bed. I got some repairs to do, but yeah, you'll see long extension. You can run a straight extension, you don't need a wobbler, and get up on that. So that's the first one. So I'm gonna shoot this one out. They are Loctited, so they are in there good. And then we'll move back to the other 2. Well, there's one thing that I need to insert here that I did not catch. You'll see I already got the bed off here. So while you're on the front bolt location, there's also a ground strap held with a 10 mil that comes up under this front side and connects down here on the front of the bed. So you're gonna wanna remove that before you remove the bed. You can see we just picked it up and pulled it back and it snapped. But yeah, otherwise, there's the 3 bolts. I'll show you the back 2 here shortly, and it's the same on the other side. The filler neck, which I mentioned but didn't show how to take off, is just 3 T25 Torxes that you take off from here, here, and here. All right, so now after getting that first one, typically you'd have one in the middle, but this just has like C channels it sits on. So the next one is all the way back here. You see we've come back behind the rear tire, and there's a pass-through hole right here, and up in that hole is another 18 millimeter that we got to get on. And then if you follow all the way to the end, there's one final one. I don't know if you can see this very well, right up in this hole in the back. So you only have 3 bolts holding it down. And then obviously remember to take off your filler neck and your bumper and your wiring harness. So you got to get the taillight wiring harness out too. But that's that. So I'm gonna get this one out, then I'm gonna see if I can't work some magic to get this one out. You can see my frame's bent down a little bit right here. It collapsed a little bit, so it's making that tricky. And then yeah, I'm gonna continue forward, but just thought I'd make a quick video on this. So if you have any questions, throw them in the comments. Hope to help, and hit the like button if it helped you.